It's hard to deny that Skyrim is special. It was the first true blockbuster in the action RPG genre and managed to maintain this unprecedented popularity through several console generations and the collapse of Bethesda's reputation. So it makes sense that nearly 15 years after its release, the question of why it was so much more successful than the competition still dominates large parts of the online conversation. As a long-time Skyrim fan, I've heard every explanation under the sun for why it's so distinct, from its interactivity to the freedom it gives players to its incomparable sense of atmosphere. But I always felt like something was missing from this discourse, a unique aspect to Skyrim that ties all of these elements together to form an unforgettable package: its size. You see, compared to its competition, Skyrim does not stand out for its scope. It might have inspired generations of RPG devs to go bigger and bolder with gargantuan open worlds, but despite what our nostalgia might tell us, the main thing that differentiates Skyrim from the RPGs that have come since, and even other titles in the Elder Scrolls series, is its small-scale feel. Unlike modern games that seem to rip their art direction from Avatar with a customary desert place, cold place, green place, and volcanic one, Skyrim has no such diversity. Basically, every area is on a spectrum between green and flat, and cold and mountainous. And the size of its map isn't particularly astounding either. End to end, it takes about 30 minutes to sprint through Skyrim. And every area that isn't a settlement is some template of a dwarven ruin, bandit camp, keep, or barrow, copy and pasted over and over again with some minor changes. Plus, its settlements are tiny, dots on the map of any of its other contemporaries or the RPG greats that failed to usurp its crown. This is the largest city in Skyrim, and this is the largest one in The Witcher 3. It doesn't even compare. But we don't even need to go to other franchises to illustrate this point. Skyrim is significantly scaled down from Oblivion. This is the Imperial City. And this is Whiterun. Now at face value, this might sound like a downside. Everyone likes it bigger, right? But as Todd Howard and his team realized at the time, and then immediately forgot of Starfield, it's not the size of a world that draws us into its grasp, but its distinctiveness. And there's a trade-off between the two. Or that's what I like to tell myself. Anyway, back to the video. A Bugatti Veyron versus a Ford Focus is a great example. Many of the Veyron's parts come straight from mainstream car brands, and so the actual cost of assembling a single Veyron cannot justify the vast price difference. So it may seem at face value that a Bugatti is just a waste of money, but I guarantee if I offered someone 100 versions of Fords, Nissans and BMWs, over a Bugatti, they'd pick the latter any day. Why? Is it because we live in a status-driven, narcissistic society? Well, partly, but mainly because of the craftsmanship involved. You see, by focusing immense resources on a single design, Bugatti were able to create a product with such attention to detail and pure artisanship that it truly stands the test of time, whereas the Ford Focus just doesn't. And creating an open world isn't any different. There are so many technological, financial, and scheduling limitations that game developers cannot simply do whatever they want. To create a truly distinctive experience, they have to decide, do they produce a single Bugatti or 100 different Fords and Nissans? In other words, do they want to produce something great or something that pleases everyone relatively well but is not loved by anyone? Now, just to make it clear, I'm not implying everyone has to have the same focus. Studios like CD Projekt Red, Warhorse, Larian, and From Software have produced truly groundbreaking games based on a fundamentally different formula to Bethesda. But what Skyrim's small-scale approach enables that none of these games can quite deliver on is the combination of this attention to detail with a level of interactivity that, like a personalized Veyron, makes Bethesda's magisterial world truly feel like it was handcrafted for us, the player, our personal haven to immerse ourselves as we please. Whiterun, the first major hold most players will come across, is the perfect example of this. But before I go into it, I just want to remind you guys to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. As a small channel, it's pretty much impossible for me to get my content out there without a healthy dose of engagement. Anyway, back to the video. Whiterun is my favorite place in Skyrim, but on paper, it's nothing special. A fairly small town whose major quests take place at the very edge of the map, either in the Great Keep or the Grand Hall of the Companions. In many other games, it would just be a fairly insignificant point on the way to bigger and better things. So why is this not the case? In fact, it's the opposite. Type in Whiterun on YouTube for a second and you'll be faced with the irrefutable reality that this tiny slice of the map has become an iconic symbol of Skyrim's greatness. Well, fundamentally, it all comes down to the sheer craftsmanship that went into its creation. Whiterun is so interactive, stunningly detailed, and atmospheric that it's impossible to forget the feeling it evokes. From the moment it opens up, it will feel as though you've been dropped into a beautiful tapestry, not a video game. Small details like the smoke emanating from the braziers circling around the taverns, or the clank of iron from the nearby forge, when combined with the wispy ethereal soundtrack, morph so perfectly together that you're put in an almost spiritual trance. One so strong you'll forget the main quests that likely brought you there, and simply want to explore. And as you walk, the painting will come alive as you interact with the various NPCs, all going about their routines with rivalries,
Greymane or Battleborn,
friendships, and yearnings for a better life of prosperity. And you'll begin to associate each house and district, not just with the town, but the people themselves. This isn't just another house, but Amren's. And this isn't just any store, it's the one that gaming's best gangster, Ysolda, covertly deals for. And the very personal nature of the quests will only further draw you into this community and its characters, such that by the end, Whiterun will be so etched into your consciousness that arriving back years later will almost feel like coming home. A place where you're free to do as you please, in the peace of a sleepy, tranquil village where everything is as it should be. And the key to this intimate interactivity is its small scale. If Whiterun was the size of Novigrad, there is no way the devs would have been able to commit such minute effort to the art direction, nor make every NPC feel like they were part of a living, breathing organism. The sheer amount of sacrifice and focus, even designing a simple day and night cycle, is so astounding that even without size limitations, no one, apart from perhaps Kingdom Come Deliverance, has tried to create one on a similar scale to Skyrim. But even they have not gone as far as Bethesda, because no one has been quite confident enough in the quality of their product to shy away from easy spectacle and keep things cozy and small. Bethesda's ability to ruthlessly focus their experience on quality over quantity is one of the most important reasons for Skyrim's continued unprecedented success. In fact, it's much of the reason for the continued success of most of their games, including Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and now the Oblivion remake. It's so attached to their core appeal that it's literally built into the very engine that fuels their titles. To paraphrase Luke Stevens, who himself is referenced in an expert, the creation engine is specifically designed to enable the sort of physics-based interactivity post-Morrowind Bethesdan games are so known for, at the conscious cost of large-scale seamlessness. And this is why, after repeated calls from basically everyone online to scrap it, they have not. As ex-Bethesda senior designer Bruce Neesmith put it in a recent interview, the creation engine has evolved to do exactly the kinds of games that Bethesda makes. At this point, it's perfectly tuned to that type of game. And this is important for us to remember, not just so we can give Bethesda our props, but so that we can remind them not to veer away from what made them great in the first place. Starfield is a reminder of what can happen when Bethesda, instead of trying to build upon the legacy they established, awkwardly attempts to morph that existing formula and engine into something it's completely unsuited to do. If you enjoyed this video and want it to have more than 10 views, please give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're so inclined so my algorithmic overlords are satisfied.